Idris Elba, and I'm here today to speak to some young kids about film and my career in film. Films are as important as reading books, like they're just a different way to sort of experience something that you probably won't experience yourself. So if you can get young people into cinemas to watch film, to see different expressions of art, it's really important, just as important as reading books. It was important to me as a kid when I met an actor and he was acting and working, and I seen him on the films, and the fact that he was there and I could literally pinch him if I wanted to meant that this was real, this could actually happen. He breathes and walks just like me. So it's great to see people that you admire in the flesh and be able to converse with them. Good stuff.
I'd like you all to give a massive hand to Mr. Idris Elba.
How did you feel when you got approached with the script to play Mandela?
If I'm honest, I thought it was a joke. Literally, my agent is South African, and he said, "Listen, do you want to play Nelson Mandela?" And I was like, "Roger, shut up, man. Like, I haven't got time, man. Call me later." Click. And he came back with an email and then a script, and I was like, you serious? When the script actually came and I read it, and I understood that it was really the younger Mandela and the older Mandela, I started to sort of picture myself figuring a way to do it. But at first I didn't believe it, and I was scared. I ain't gonna lie, I was definitely scared.
How different was this experience doing a character that's actually based on someone?
Good question. Yeah, the experience is different, A character that is in a script that isn't real is someone's imagination, and really as an actor, it's a combination of your imagination and their imagination which builds the character. But in this case, Mandela is very much a living legend, and I had to be very sort of precious about how I portray him, especially for people of South Africa, especially for members of his family. And the preparation was just slightly different, I really had to understand who he was. So my preparation was really deep. I read a lot, watched a lot, and spoke to a lot of people about him. And then sort of literally threw it all away and, sort of worked on the script.
I have a beautiful wife. I have beautiful children. I want them to walk free in their own land.
We will fight for our freedom!
This is your final warning!
They're not breaking any laws. For 50 years, we have been talking non-violence. Not anymore.
Does somebody want me?
I have cherished the ideal of a free society. It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die.
What was the most emotional scene while making Mandela?
In jail, Mandela hears that his son, his firstborn son, has died in a car crash. And he receives this news while he's sitting in the middle of a yard cracking rocks. And the guy gives him a telegram and he reads it. And that was tough, man. That was really, like, no joke. I had to imagine what it was like for him. He was powerless. And then he requested a moment to go and see his son and bury his son, and they said no. And that was hard to play as well. It's very tough.
You are on the island. You will die here.
The girls are not allowed visits until they're 16.
Tell me about the arrests.
They think about me a lot.
I am not afraid anymore.
Tata.
I think of you every day, but it's the little girl that I see.
All over the world, there's going to be a new campaign. Free Nelson Mandela.
This is how it begins. Your people have taken away half of my life. Just open the gate and let me go.
How long did it take you to learn your accent?
I think the first thing I wanted to understand is, why do South Africans speak English like that? What is the major influence in their palate? And I got to understand all of that. And then I got to understand Xhosa, which is the language that Mandela speaks, first language, and it started to influence how my tongue and, you know, intonation works. So it took about, you know, 3 months to initially get into it, and then, you know, working and living in South Africa the whole time and absorbing it helped me.
There's only one way forward, and that is peace.
During your first few years in New York, were there ever times you felt to give up?
Yeah, man, definitely. At that time, I just thought, right, giving up is one thing, but, you know what I mean, I came in for a reason, and I want to see it through. And eventually, I broke through, so I'm glad I didn't give up. But there were plenty of times when it was like, should I give up, you know? But, you know, everyone in this room, you know, in your career or whatever you step into, you're going to have those moments 2 or 3 times in your career, especially in the beginning, because it's hard to learn something. The brain takes its time to process it, and you need to give it that time, and sometimes we ain't got the patience, or sometimes the circumstances are not good for you to stick at acting. You need to pay some bills. But I would suggest not giving up, you know what I mean? It's a great industry. It's very fulfilling, and we need you. Like, we need you. All these faces we need. There's a lot of brain, a lot of creativity in here that needs to propel it forward. You know, looking at me, that's all good, but, you know, someone in here needs to be me. Needs to be me in 20 years' time, for sure. And so giving up ain't an option. You know what I mean?
It's something that they'll always remember seeing. It's something they'll always remember coming to.
Yeah, very informative.
It was an eye-opener to how deep it is to actually prepare for a film.
Oh, it was amazing. It made me feel like I could actually do it, because he's a great example of someone from Hackney who's achieved a lot.
If I love doing something, then I should, you know, persevere and do something until I actually succeed, as he has done.